can hurt you, or the truth can change you. What will truth do to you?
Hello there, my beautiful viewers, and how are you today? How has your day been? Mine has been beautiful because I have got a beautiful mind. You are welcome to your reality talk show, Beautiful Mind. This is the show where we say no to stigmas, discriminations, and any judgmental attitudes. On this show, we talk about issues that are considered as taboo, the people generally do not like to talk about publicly. We let them know that they do not need to suffer in silence because help is readily available. Beautiful Mind believes that everyone deserves love and respect, regardless of their color, their past, their education, race, or color or sex orientation. You are welcome to your reality talk show. This show wants you viewers to see beauty in everybody, regardless of what they are going through. You're welcome on board. Why don't you grab yourself a cup of tea, hot chocolate, water, coffee, soup, whatsoever that makes you feel comfortable. Please sit down and come along with us. And if you're coming back from work and you're listening via our online radio, Peace and Joy, please drive carefully as you enjoy today's show. Remember that you can connect with us on all our social media, and we are live on YouTube, you are live on Facebook as well. So please, we don't want this show to just be between the two of us that are talking on the show, but we want it to be an interactive one. So please, let us have your views, your comments, your contributions while the show is going on. And remember to share this video because I believe what we are discussing today is something that will bless, and every one of us will take something home today. So please do not go anywhere because today's show is going to be informative and educative. Today's topic is "That's My Girl." I believe some of us want to hear that voice or that word said to us or say to us, or some have received that word before, saying, "That's my girl." How a father's love and power. Some of us have present father, and some of us that we have absent his father. But today we want to talk about father's love, how it empowers us as a girl or as a boy. So please do not go anywhere because my guest today is going to make us, see the value of fathers even in our lives and in our generation. And my name is Adeyinka Adeomi. I'm the host of today's show. And this show comes live every Wednesday, 5 to 6 p.m. I'm so sorry we're not in our normal studio today, because of some technical issues. But you're still going to have the best of Beautiful Mind. So please do not go anywhere. Right, I've got a special guest today. Wow, Loretta, thank you very much for being part of today's show. Can you please introduce yourself, to my viewers and listeners for the benefit of people that are meeting you for the very first time today?
So, hello, good evening, everybody. My name is Loretta Oduware Ogboro Oko. I will want to thank Adeyinka today and her crew, and I will say most of the lateness I will apologize for. It's a doctor's life. So that gives you a hint about my primary background. I'm a doctor by training, specifically in gynae. Well, along the way, I've become many things. I've become a teacher, clinical education and simulation. I've become an author. I've always been a women and child and youth advocate, global goodwill ambassador. And specifically, I just look out for our fellow persons. Interestingly, the book I wrote is My Father's Daughter, which actually x-rays stereotypes in our society. It x-rays fatherhood, mentorship, parenting, and generally it's a book that many have called a life manual. So it's good being here this evening, and I hope someone somewhere has a word to pick from this show. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. As she rightly said, she is a doctor, a medical doctor, saving lives. Thank you for all what you're doing. We do really appreciate all your support and love during this, coronavirus. Thank you very much. Right. Again, if you are just joining us, the topic we are discussing today is That's My Girl. Father's love that empowers. We want to talk about that. Right. Loretta, can you please explain to us, I want you to bring this, topic to the life for people to be able to understand what we are discussing today. Both parents, I believe, play significant roles, either positive or negative in a child's life. And many have argued that the role of a father in a home is invalued. So could you please tell us the significance, of a father's influence on a child?
I lost your volume a bit there. I don't know why.
Right. Can you tell us
hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly. Can you share with us the significant, role of a father?
I've lost your volume. Well, if you can hear me, I got the question. It is to share how a father empowers a child, especially a daughter, with their love. Hello?
We can hear you. Go on, please.
Yeah, but I lost you briefly. Anyway, I will crack on and say, when children are growing up, the first examples they see, the first people they see are their parents. And we cannot doubt that they influence the children, they influence how they turn out later. Now, even if one is a biological father, one needs to understand, or a biological mother, i.e. biological parents, we need to understand that parenthood, i.e. motherhood and fatherhood, is very, very different from being a biological father or mother. In terms of empowerment, nurturing, you need to dedicate time. You need to dedicate energy. It's not necessarily money that's the only resource you have to give. You have to ensure that you set a pace that's going to influence the thinking. If you want to influence people's thinking, it then means that you need to interact with them in such a way that they see you as a stakeholder in whatever they do. And to bring it home, to bring it nearer home. This is exactly what my father did for me, and things you will see in the book called My Father's Daughter. He made me realize that there was greatness in me. He used to tell me every day, "We are fearfully and wonderfully made." And without knowing it, every day, he added empowerment to my thinking. He added value to how I saw myself, and he created self-esteem. So to everybody out there, I would say, how do you empower someone? It's simple. It's simply engaging with them, make them feel valued first, and then they begin to value themselves. They have enough value in their bank, and that radiates to everybody. Value does not rest in money. I can give you the best food, the best clothes. I am not there to talk to you about anything, and I am not engaging. There is no impactation. There is no transfer of values.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that, Loretta.
I'm still having a problem with hearing you.
Can you hear me now? Because I can hear you perfectly loud and clear.
Faint.
I can hear you perfectly.
I'm just trying to see. Okay, go on.
Yes. So could you please share a bit about your upbringing as per your relationship with your dad? I know you mentioned a bit, briefly there, but can you please share with us just a bit about your upbringing, as per your relationship with your dad?
So for me, growing up, I had a father who took me and let's look at this against the African context, where you have a pressure gradient, where children are meant to be seen and not necessarily heard. I had a dad who took me like a friend.
Mm-hmm.
So his own ways of correcting me and nurturing me was really very different. But I didn't know that on time. I thought everybody's father and mother were like that. It took me going out and engaging with others to realize that. Now, to bring it closer home, I think because I'm a teacher, I like to teach with examples. Let's take a situation that happened real life to me when I was growing up to show you the kind of friend I had in my father. So I used to go to school and a number of children would start clapping their hands and calling me names. They'll call me Yellow Pawpaw, they'll call me Pussycat Eyes and Rabbit Teeth. Now, for people watching from other continents, that simply means that, oh, I was too light-skinned for the general populace, and then I had a protruding upper jaw. That was because I used to suck my tongue. And they used to say Pussycat Eyes. So at that point, I had hazel pupils. And they would clap and make fun of me every day. I would cry in school. This was like nursery school. I would cry in school, then go home. Imagine how young I was. One day my dad came and said, "Why are you crying?" And I told him what happened. I was so worried. I thought he was going to go and talk to these people that day. And we all know that would make it worse. But guess what? Daddy said, "Get in the car." And when we got home, he sat me down. He said to me, "Young man, are you not fair? Are your eyes not hazel? Is your teeth not protruding?" To all of these questions, I said, "Yes, daddy, yes, daddy, yes, daddy." And then he said, "So why do you cry when people tell you that?" I said, "The way they start clapping and making me feel very bad." He said, "No, you don't have to feel bad about yourself. You're the prettiest person in this world. And next time when they come and start clapping, all I want you to do is to start dancing and feel really, really good with yourself. Because if 30 people, 30 other children leave what they are doing to sing and clap for you, you must be very special." Now, let's all step back and think about what this man just told me. He spoke to me like his friend. He corrected me. He didn't just say, "Oh, why are you crying? What's wrong with you? You have to man up, you have to get up." No, he explained things to me. And more importantly, he added value. And that was my father for you. Every day he would say something that made you feel like you were on the moon. He would come into my room, and he did this for all my siblings, my mother's children. He would wake us up and say, "Oh, wake up. It's a great day. Are you not going to school today?" With a big smile on his face, you know. And then he'll say, "Oh, when you were going out yesterday, I was just watching you amongst your friends. You know, you were the prettiest.
Wow.
The best lesbian
So, Loretta, how did that
conversation? Till tomorrow, I
Loretta,
still feel my legs are the best in the world, even better than Sinatona. So you see, we had a very friendly relationship. We would sit down, watch the network news, listen to BBC, analyze the issues together. He would ask me, "What's your point of view?" I will tell him. And then sometimes we would agree, we would disagree. So what he was doing was that he was raising me to interrogate processes. He was raising me to interrogate him. You see, that does not mean disobedience. It does not mean rebellion. It just means engagement. Or more often than not, especially in our primary African societies, when you interrogate people, they take it as antagonism. They take it as rebellion. So that's wrong.
Loretta, can you hear me?
We all agree to disagree, and that's how God raised me.
Can you hear me?
I had a friend in him. I had a mentor in him. And more importantly, I had a guide.
Loretta, can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Right. I want to ask that, how did that, that involvement, all those values that he instilled in you, how are that contributed to who you are today?
I didn't hear that now. It just went up. Today is one of those technology days, Ade.
Can you hear me now?
A bit, yeah.
Okay. So I said, how did that contributed to who you are now?
How does that?
those values that he instilled in you, how has that, the conversation, those things it did say to you, how did they contributed to who you are today?
Oh, I got your question now. How have those values contributed to who I am today? Am I
Yes.
right?
Can
Excellent.
you, Loretta, can you increase the volume of your device,
I
please?
have tried to do that actually. I'm at
Or if
maximum
you can
volume.
use earpiece, probably that will help because
I'm at max volume. I have tried to adjust muted. I've unmuted it. Anyway, I think we'll crack on. Maybe you
okay.
can use the chat as well to buttress your questions. I will do a practical example. So, I think my dad died when I was in 200 level in medical school, going on to 300 level. And at that time in my book, My Father's Daughter, I actually tagged that chapter. I said the bubble bursted. So it was like someone who has always shielded you, and then the bubble just goes bust. And you are face to face with reality. How do you survive? It was those things he deposited in me that saw me through till now. More importantly, then, if I go back a bit, many people who were even our relatives came. It was a time a new scourge and menace had come to haunt my people, especially those in Edo State. It's trafficking, sending children out to go and make money. Simply
We're going to talk about that later. I want you to describe how your dad for us, because I want people to really to visualize.
Do you know what? Can you give me 1 minute? Let me see if I can fix up my internet and turn it on to see what happens. 1 second. Because I need to really hear this is important.
The truth can hurt you, or the truth can change you. What will truth do to you?
Where is the voice? Is he here?
Hello, can you hear me now? Can you hear?
I've decided to get an earphone. Is that better?
Okay. Is that
Can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you now.
Good.
Excellent. I can hear you now.
Fabulous. That's fabulous. Thank you very much.
No worries.
Thank you. So I was just asking that, can you please describe your dad for us, with just 1 sentence?
In 1 sentence.
Yes.
My dad was holistic. Holistic. That's the word.
Wow.
Holistic. A complete package.
Thank you.
Yes, that's the word.
You were about going into that story before this question. My next question that I'm about to ask you, you are very fortunate, I must say, because not everybody is privileged to have the kind of the father that you are. So what's your advice to those fathers that are absent emotionally and physically in the life of the children?
I'll tell them that, there are certain things we do in life, either by omission or by commission. Sometimes we do not have an awareness because we've not done it before. So parenting doesn't necessarily have a formula, but there are certain key things that will guide it. And that is the first rule I want every father, mother,
anybody to take away. And you know what it is, Ade? It is that rule that says, do unto others what you want done unto you.
Mm.
Let's pause and think about that.
Wow.
So, if you were a child growing
Mm-hmm.
up, how do you want to be treated? For
Mm.
those fathers who do not understand the meaning of fatherhood, and
Mm-hmm.
they give the excuse that, oh, it's the way I was raised,
Mm.
it's the way I grew up, I don't know how to show emotions, I
Mm.
wasn't loved when I was growing up, so I can't love. I tell
Mm.
people that we can always unlearn and
Mm-hmm.
then relearn.
Mm-hmm.
And life is a lifelong learning place.
Thank
Okay?
you.
So
Thank
for
you.
people to be optimal fathers, let
Mm.
them take on that sentence. Do unto others what you want them to do unto you,
Thank
and
you.
let them practice how to unlearn and relearn things and
Thank
ensure
you.
that life is a lifelong learning
Thank
trail.
you. Thank you very much for that, Loretta. I just want to ask, the mentoring is something that where is an avenue that we can learn or learn some certain habits that we've picked up along the line. You know, you mentioned something that is very, very important, and that's my motto in life: do unto others the way you want to be treated.
Yes.
You know, it's
How do
something
you want to be
I
treated?
hold on to dearly. So since we are a very religious race, you know, you ask everybody in this world, they belong to one religion or the other. The church and the mosque, I believe we must have a system of mentoring in place for children, for single mothers, you know, people that are, their fathers are not there, or even the fathers that are there as well. We should have a system in place for mentoring that will be able to mentor all these people. Wow. The next question says, you know, they say death snatch the good ones quickly. I don't know, but the good one seems to go very quickly. Could you please share with us how you felt when your dad died?
When my dad died, like I said before, my bubble burst. And even talking to you today, I feel very emotional. My dad died in July 1997. So July is a time that when it comes round, I really feel drained. It's an eye opener.
Mm,
Where you expect help to come from, it doesn't
mhm,
come from there.
mm,
It's the people you don't expect who come to your aid. Um, but one thing rang true when I lost my father, because he had been such a friend and a mentor. We
mhm,
were determined not to let him down. You see,
mm,
when you train people out of fear and
mm,
not necessarily love or reciprocated respect,
mhm,
immediately you are gone from the scene, you are forgotten.
mhm,
Okay? Whatever you've impacted is lost. But because we were raised with a lot of love and mentoring,
mhm.
and then day to day guidance and guardians, when my father departed, I had a strong resolve that I will not let that love down. I was going to do everything my mentor had taught me and more. So
Wow.
for me, I took a resolution at that point. I was
Mm,
in medical school, there was no money, finance was gone.
mm,
My mother was just a petty trader at Urban Market. And then there were siblings who were going to school. We needed to eat. But I resolved that it was either I succeed or I succeed. I had only
wow.
two options.
Thank you.
So it's pretty much down to you as an individual
Okay.
and what you've been exposed to.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that. I'm so sorry. And we're doing this show again in July. You know, that must bring like old memories back. I'm
Yeah,
really sorry.
yeah,
Please accept
it
my
does. It
yeah.
does.
You know, families, they say, is sweet. Families are sweet, aren't they? You know, people would bombard you with a lot of advice, you know, when you lose loved ones, you know, they'll bring a lot of different advice, suggestion. Some will even insist you follow their opinion. What was one advice or recommendation that was given to you when you lost your dad and you opposed strongly. Why did you oppose that? Why did you decline?
I think I had started that story earlier on, but
Yeah.
just to complete it, it was the advice from relatives, especially my mother's side of the family, family friends who had gone abroad in quotes and they
Mm,
were making money in quote. They would come and say, why are you suffering? You have so many beautiful girls. Can they not, one, travel abroad, go to Italy, or two, marry my brother in America, Canada? Everybody had their own agenda. Um,
mm,
they came in wanting you to do something that would take you out of poverty, in
mhm,
quote. But you
mm,
see, the thing is, I always tell people, physical poverty is very different from
mm,
poverty of the mind. Poverty
mhm,
of the mind and the soul is very difficult to cure. But
mm,
what my dad did for us growing up, we were born into affluence. We were very, very rich when my dad was alive. But
mm,
what he did was that he made sure that we did not suffer poverty of the soul and the
mm.
mind. So when those people came, even though there was no more money, even though there was physical poverty, I was still rich in my mind.
Wow.
I believed I could be anything. I
Mm,
didn't have to go to Italy and be a prostitute, and I didn't have to marry anybody's brother. Because
mm,
many of them thought that their brothers were God's gift to women.
mm,
Come and marry my brother. Oh, one even came and said, oh, come and marry this professional footballer. And I'm like, no. So these were things that I was strongly opposed to because I had values, because
mm.
I knew whose daughter I am. If you notice, I'm not saying I was, I am. It's in the present continuous till today. At work today, I had a discussion with someone and I told the person, if this is XYZ without apologies, this is where I stand. But obviously, I can compromise in other things, but I still have my ethos, my idiosyncrasies, because it was
Mm.
built into me growing up. So we must have a mind shift. We must have a paradigm shift in the way people think if we want to change the way we do things.
Thank you.
And that is something we cannot underemphasize.
Thank you very much for that. What you just mentioned now is about human trafficking. But Loretta, some people would have taken that option, and many are doing it, daily, even as we speak, because of poverty. You mentioned the word poverty before, and they are convinced that that is the only way out. Can you please advise those people in that category?
I will start Adenka by saying, and I've always said it, and I said it in my book, I don't blame them at all.
Mm,
You see, have you ever been hungry for 3 days at a stretch a day
mhm.
with no hope of where the next meal is going to
It's
come
coming
from?
from.
I have been there, so I know
Mm,
what it is. So I don't blame these people who decide to take this path. However, what I do know and what they should think about is these options I'm taking on the short run, they
mm,
look very, very rosy. What are the effects on the long run? Have
mhm,
they thought about the differences between immediate gratification and
mm,
long term suffering for a goal? So, my advice is I am not here to judge anybody. Life
mhm,
throws us pepper and we make
mm,
pepper soup with it, not
mhm,
just lemons and lemonades.
mm,
But I want the people listening to me today to realize that one, it is not a crime to fall. When you
mm,
fall, you get up.
mhm.
Number two, you are not a failure until you yourself say so. No, and that's one thing my dad used to tell me. Nobody is going to rewrite you for you. You will define who you are.
That's
And
it.
in that process of finding yourself and defining who you are, you
Mm,
must understand the meaning of long term suffering to achieve a goal and forfeit instant gratification.
mm,
You must develop your mind to surmount poverty of the soul and mind. You must
mm,
begin to think that anything anybody has, I
mhm,
can have it. So,
mm,
if you carry a Louis Vuitton bag today, I am not bothered, even if I don't have one now. because I know that tomorrow I will get one.
I'll get
The
mine.
other thing you need to be is to be able to stand up to societal stereotypes. What do I mean by that? My father raised me. He used to say, Loretta, learn how to be a left-handed person in a right-handed world. And
Wow.
that means that some difficult decisions will come, but you need to make them. Let me give you a quick example before we stop on this trajectory. When I was getting married, everybody in my family said, oh, we need to kill cows. We need to block the road like they do in Benin. People who did not go to school like you, they do this, they do that. And you know what I said to them? I said, no, 30 people at my wedding is perfect. But do you know why I did that? Because I needed money to travel abroad. I needed money to eat after the one-day event. A wedding is a one-day event. The marriage is for a lifetime. So I made those critical decisions. Even then, people in my family did not understand and they didn't appreciate what I was doing. But I stood up to those decisions. So I was actually left-handed in a right-handed world. And as they ask my friends today, they will tell you, Loretta does not buy Ashwebi. It is not like I don't like those who do it. It is not like I don't enjoy the beauty it brings to an occasion. But I will not be stampeded into doing what I cannot justify. And that is my message to people.
Thank
Do
you.
not let society stereotype you and write your history. You
Wow.
are your artist. Paint your own picture. You've got your brush, man.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that. You know, I just want to say something about human trafficking that is a slavery in disguise. And coming, you know, without the right documentation is like being in a big prison, and you are the one putting yourself in that prison. You know, it is not as easy as it looks. People think, oh, coming abroad is the route of escape, or is the best thing that can happen to anybody. Europe and America are not what risking one's life for. Please seek the right advice and let God direct you before you take any decision in life. Yes, some people come to England or go to America and they make it in life, but some people, they are going to make it right there in Africa. And nobody says it is only when you get out of Africa that you can make it in life. Please seek the right guidance and get the right documentation before you leave your home abroad. Please. Right. Roberto, some people are desperate because of us abroad are always posting beautiful pictures on social media. You know, I'm always posting my pictures as well. What have you got to say about people who get distracted from their dreams, you know, because of what other people are doing? I'm not saying
I was
to post your pictures, but the benefit of others, that they are watching you constantly and they're running, they want to be like you. You know, what advice have you got for those people?
I will give you a very practical real life example, and that is this afternoon. Initially, if my audience and your audience now will remember, I apologize for lateness. Okay, and you know, you would see me on social media. You would see me now and say, "Oh my God, she looks so glam." But maybe if you had seen me 5 minutes ago, Adenka can testify, running in here and getting ready, you would think differently. That's because I was coming from work. I've been operating and stood in theater all day. So I want people today, especially with the advent of social media, to
Mm-hmm.
start to mentor those around them to have self-esteem. My dad did that for me. I have self-esteem the size of a cathedral, and I am not apologetic about that. The
Wow.
reason is this: once you have self-esteem, nobody can make you feel inferior. So
Mm,
what am I saying? People would take 30 pictures, pick the best one and put on social media. You have a look at it and you start crying. Oh, I don't look this good. Oh, my life is not looking. Every day they're always in party. Oh, there's what I call the iceberg concept of success. For every
mm,
single success you see, there may have been 20 episodes where I wasn't successful. You don't see the
mm,
number of times I stumble and I fall. I don't see the
mm,
number of times Ade walks in the night and doesn't sleep. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so you don't see. Let's take Beyonce for instance. You see Beyonce on stage. Have you
Mm.
seen her first thing in the morning, waking up, coming out of bed? You
No,
haven't. Have you seen her in her kitchen cooking? You
no.
haven't. And like I said, we just need to know that life is a stage and people are actors therein. Shakespeare said it.
Mm.
Even bigger now is social media, which has become an integral part of our life.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see other people, please don't be distraught. You are in your own lane.
Wow.
You are writing your own life story.
Mm-hmm.
Believe in yourself. Have that confidence. And for parenting and mentoring, I will say
Mm.
to people out there, for those you mentor, make it a point of duty to reinforce their good sides. Begin to give feedback in a sandwiched manner. So, what I mean is, if my child comes in now and has done something very wrong, I will
Mm-hmm.
first praise the good things he or she has done that day. There must be one good thing. Look for it.
Yeah.
Praise
Mm-hmm.
it. Before I go on to say, oh, could we not have done this a bit better?
Mm.
Now, if I come to you a day and you say, oh, Loretta has got pretty skin, you could
Mm-hmm.
easily have said, Loretta has very big eyes. They are not pretty. But you
Mm.
choose to emphasize the pretty skin first. So
Yes.
these are things we need to imbibe as mentors,
Mm-hmm.
parents, older brothers, sisters, friends. Be emotionally aware, be situationally aware, know what to tell people at the right time, and build their confidence. That way, they will never have any inferiority complex. Even if
Complex.
they see other people
Mm.
riding private jets on social media, they
Mm-hmm.
believe in themselves, they believe they
Mm.
can do it. And that's
Thank
what the book My Father's Daughter states.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that. I love everything that you've just said. You are a very, very educated person and so much attracted to your Benin culture.
I am.
Are you able to breathe properly in this country with your Benin culture? Do you get discriminated against because of who you are?
Um, I will be economical with the truth if I said no to that answer, to that question. Sorry, it would be me being economical with the truth. It would be me actually, if I'm going to use the word, it would be me lying. Racism is real and it is palpable, especially even in my industry, in institutions, in healthcare. Um, about 3 weeks ago, I was a keynote speaker in Sheffield Hallam University, where they were doing a conference on race and how it affects institutions.
Mm,
And like I said on that day, you know, it is all about owning your narrative, knowing where you are coming from, then you know where you are going to. Let me give you a clear cut example. I was raised by my dad, and he taught me to speak my native tongue, Benin
mm,
language. He also used to tell me, Loretta, learn how to dine with kings. Watch the words, dine with kings and eat with paupers. So, in
mm,
effect, he was telling me to be able to blend the gaps in society. I should be
mm,
comfortable with the ones they call the downtrodden of the earth, and I should not be intimidated by kings and queens.
mm-hmm.
I was raised a princess. He himself, he was born by the first granddaughter of Obalvorame. So I
Wow.
was born with pedigree. But one thing was that at every step, he kept saying, this is your culture, this is who you are. And he
Mm,
used to tell me, even when you leave the shores of this country, be unashamed about who you are, own your
mm,
identity.
mm,
And I came to realize later why. When you think back and you see the way countries in Africa were colonized, you will see
mm,
that whether we like it or not, colonization was oppression.
mm,
Okay, and sometimes there's what you call the oppressor wanting to take on, um, the oppressed wanting to take on the language of the oppressor.
mm-hmm.
So you then find that people would then migrate here from those colonized states. They come to England, and the first thing they want to do is speak like the white man, act like the white man, and discard their own culture.
Culture.
Whereas I am a fan of cultural integration and
Mm,
owning the environment you are in, I am not a supporter of letting go of your culture or where you are coming from. The
Mm,
reason is if you value yourself and propagate
mm,
your culture, others
mhm.
will value you.
That's it.
If I come now and tell you, Ade, I am from Benin, in 20 AD, before we were already doing business with the Portuguese,
Mm,
you are going to look at me and say, oh, really, the Portuguese?
mhm.
And you are going to have a rethink. You are going to then think, oh, they probably weren't wearing leaves at that time if they were able to do business with the Portuguese.
With the
So,
Portuguese.
yeah, so there's a way you carry yourself that will
Yeah.
make other people respect you.
To
But it
respect.
doesn't mean that I haven't encountered racial challenge, as I put it, because
Mm,
those who do that, they are challenged racially. That's what they are.
mhm.
They are the ones with the problem, not me. And
Not
today,
you.
I will tell everybody listening to us, the
Thank you.
moment you perceive it that the person who is being racist is the one with a problem, you
Mm,
are liberated. You are
that's it.
immediately above that person. You let
Hmm.
emotions go and you
Hmm.
act professionally. You are your best self. But if you
Thank
let emotions enter and say, oh, this person is being racist to me, this person is being,
you. Mm,
you will miss one or two steps and then you fall flat. And they can come in through that aspect. Let me give
thank
you a typical example. I go to work and someone says, are you the one going to do my surgery? And I say, oh, yes. Do you have a problem with that?
you. Mm,
Immediately, I have turned the tables. And they're like, oh, no, no,
mhm.
no, I don't. But we know the underlining unsaid
Yeah.
words underneath
Mm,
that question.
mhm.
So we need to do our part, okay?
Mm,
I'm pleased when I see people, Black Lives Matter, marching and all that. But we, as Black and ethnic minority, we also need to do our part. We need to teach our history to those who are
that's
coming
it.
behind us. We need
That's
to
it.
also enlighten our white counterparts about
Mhm.
how rich our culture is and
Thank
about
you.
how good our countries are.
Thank you very much, Loretta. Thank you.
You're
I don't
welcome.
think I can add anything to that. Thank you very, very much. I just want to add that you are you, and it is only in being you that the best of you can manifest. So please
Exactly.
stop hiding you because nobody can be like you. Thank you very much. A lot of Africans, with your kind of CV or even less, would hide their cultural identity, Loretta, because of
No,
institutional racism and the fear of getting bullied and not getting promoted. From what you've just said this afternoon, I'm really, really impressed with you. But what advice have you got for such people that will not talk about racism?
I will tell them that we are all lifelong learners. We learn every day. I
Mm-hmm.
want them to sit down and actually reflect. The method
Mm,
they employed so far, has it worked? They should actually think about it. Has it helped them? Has it
mm,
helped them to help others? Has it helped them to impact on the lives of others coming behind
mm,
them? You see, I made a promise to myself many years ago that if I can, however I can, and when I can, I don't want others to suffer what I have suffered. So imagine if I don't put myself out there as the poster child for people like me,
mm,
I am not helping them at all. A typical example is I have friends who people see me and say, how can you be that person's friend? They don't even have a school cert. Or, oh, how can you be that person's friend? That person was trafficked to England. And I tell them, I've been to Italy. I went to that road to see where people stand. I've been to some
mm,
of the most deprived places in London. I want to experience what these people experience. And when I do, it means I'll be able to speak for them when I'm called. It means that
mm,
I will be able to help those who make policies to understand and say, this is where we should look. It means that I'll be better able to put my own privileges to use
mm.
for the service of humanity. So, for those
Wow.
of us who like to pretend and distance
Mm,
ourselves from our cultures back home,
mhm,
I think we
mhm,
should have a rethink because there are beautiful things about our culture. There are
mhm,
many things that are there. When you wake up in Nigeria, you go and check on your next door neighbor. How are you? Did you sleep well? Today in the UK, it's not there. I had
no.
cultural shock when I first came into this country. You know, even though we are integrating, you know, integration, cultural integration means taking what is good in your culture, wherever I've come to, and taking what is good in my culture, discarding the bad ones and blend the good ones together. So there are many beautiful things in the British culture, but there are many, many great things in my culture that I want to keep, that I will embrace, and that I can even teach the British people.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Loretto. Please, if you are just joining us, our topic for today is "That's My Girl" and the love of a father that empowers. You know, we want to share. Loretto today is sharing with us the love the father bestowed upon her, the values, you know, the father, you know, gave unto her that has made her to be who she is today, and she wants us to be able to learn from that. So please, if you're just joining us and you haven't shared this video, please help us share this video this afternoon, because I believe what we are discussing today is something that will liberate a lot of us and, you know, open our eyes, you know, make us to unlearn some certain things that we have picked up along the line and make us to be a better person. That is all what we are doing this afternoon. Loretta, let us go back to your story. What would you say as, you know, as the most significant impact on you? Will you have said is your academic or your qualifications, your career, your environment, or your dad's influence?
I think I'm pleased you asked this question. You see, those who know me very well, they know that I don't like titles. So I don't even like to talk about my qualifications. They are secondary. What has had the most influence in me or on me in my life is my father.
Wow.
My father made me to realize that our shared humanity is the true religion. So what does that mean? That means that you are human, I'm human. What do I want done to me? That is what I should do to others. And that is the true religion. You see, that's Benin I've just spoken. But
what does that mean?
But translated, that means anywhere you sit in judgment of another person is where you also judge yourself. And that is deep. The reason that is deep is because you will then begin to be very humane if you think that way. You will begin to appreciate consciously, mark my word, consciously see the good in other people. And I always tell people, you leave the bad for them. You know, when you just live by example, sometimes you don't have to talk to people. They will start changing, being around you. So my greatest influence in life has been my father. He influenced how I see the world. He influenced the lenses through which I looked at and continue to look at my world. And I really am grateful to that man. I feel like crying now, but I won't. I really am grateful to him because it was like he knew he was going to leave us, you know. And he left that foundation that saw us through.
Wow.
Especially me. I'll speak for myself. You know why? You can have 10 students, and you can have 10 pupils, and only 2 will actually learn properly at the feet of the master.
Yes, you're absolutely right. I'm going to leave you a minute. Try to take your breath. I'm really sorry.
No, it's fine.
It's so emotional.
It's fine. It's fine.
I just have a question for our viewers. You know, as a man, what values are you adding, you know, to the life of your children? Are you, when you're not there, when you know more, are your children going to be able to say the same thing Loretta is saying about the dad today? Are your children going to be able to say the same thing about you? You know what? It's not too late. You can change. You can be that father that your children would want to run back from school and just come to want to come and hug. You
Mhm.
can be that father that your children will say, Honey, I just have to call my dad every day. And
Mhm.
that's because of the relationship they've had with you. I hope we're going to be able to unlearn those things that we've picked up along the line. I'm
Mhm.
tired of hearing this statement. This is who I am. This is the way my parents raised me, and I can't do any better. I can't be any better. No, that is the lie of the devil, because that's
Yes.
not the way God created you. That was not the original plan of God concerning your life. And you can change as well. You just need to realize it. Whenever change is going to happen, you have to first of all realize that I need that change. I need to be a better person. I want to be a better father. I want to be there for my children. I want to instill good values and beliefs in the lives of my children. I want to leave a godly heritage for my children. Are you going to make that decision today? Or you want to hold on to the way you were raised? I will leave that for you to answer. You know, on Beautiful Mind, we don't judge anybody. We don't condemn anybody. We're only doing this to remind ourselves that we can be the better version of ourselves. Thank you very much for that, Loretta.
You're
Someone said,
welcome.
I hope we are not trying to underestimate the roles of mothers. There are mother,
Not at
women
all.
out there performing the role of a father and a mother perfectly. Yes, you are right. Have you got anything to say about that, Loretta?
Not at
Just
all. We are not underestimating the roles of mothers. However, what we are trying to do is to emphasize something that is deficient in every community worldwide, and that
mhm,
is the empowerment of the girl child. Whether we like it or not, fathers play a very significant role in the empowerment of the girl child. However, that is not to say we should not raise the boy child to be a befitting person in society, worthy of the girl children we are raising. I often tell people that I was very fortunate to have a unique balance. I don't know
mm,
if I told you, but my mother was 30 years younger than my father. My mother
wow,
was also less educated in terms of paper certificates, but my mother is a very, very intelligent woman. However,
wow,
their approach to life was different. And
mm,
I'll give a clear cut example. There were times my mother would say, You are reading and reading. My father would say, Leave her alone. My mother would say,
mm,
This girl will cover her pot of soup with a certificate. No man wants to marry a woman who covers her pot of soup with the certificate. And my
mm,
father used to say, I am not raising a child that is a material that somebody needs to use to decorate their house, or that
wow,
someone needs to use to do a house help job in their
mm,
house, or a cook. My father used to say, and he said this to my mother, I am raising a woman who will be
mm.
able to stand for herself and negotiate life for herself.
That's
When
it.
my dad met my mom, my father bought her Lady Bird books. My father taught her how to read again and how to write. I
Wow,
read the Lady Bird books handed down from my mother.
wow,
She gave them
wow,
to me. So she began to read, and eventually she got an employment in the WHO as well. Even
wow.
though it was at clerical and lower staff level, but
Mm-hmm,
my dad helped her to upgrade.
mm,
Now, I had a fair balance in life. When I wanted to know the local musicians, like Osai Omore Joseph, I wanted to know some deep, deep Benin and their parables, I would
yeah,
go to my mom. But when I wanted to know the classical musicians like
mm-hmm,
Beethoven, Mozart, I will go to my father. So
wow.
I am not in any way discountenancing the importance of mothers,
Mm.
but I
That's the
like us
balance
calling a spade a spade.
is
We
the
need
balance.
a balance. And if
Yes.
you are a single mom or a single dad, you
Mm-hmm,
must first imbibe the needed qualities in each person before you
mm,
can blend and fill the gap for a child you are mentoring or raising. It will be
Thank
denial for you not to accept the role of the other person first.
you.
Imbibe it. So what do I mean? If I'm a single mom, I know that my son at some point will need
We
some
need a
male figure
bro.
in
Yeah.
his life to
Mm-hmm.
discuss certain things that may even embarrass him
Mm.
discussing it with me.
With you.
So I should start planning ahead to fill that vacuum. It
Mm.
mustn't be a partner for me, no. It may just be me reading about male development, how the male child body will change, and then
Mm-hmm.
one day sitting down and having the discussion with my son. So I like telling people you must be realistic. You must assess the situation. And in
Thank,
my situation, my mom was a perfect balance for my dad. We
thank you.
knew who would beat us. We were scared of my mom, but we respected our dad. You
Thank
know.
you. Thank you very much for sharing that. I just want to say thank you and well done to all the single mothers and
Shout out to
out,
them.
doing the role of four people, and you're doing it perfectly and wonderfully well. Well done to you all. I
Ade,
believe God is with you.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but there are people who are in marriages who are
Mm.
still single parents. Do you know
Yes,
that? If you
yes,
have a non-engaging husband,
you are
my sister,
absolutely
you
right.
are a single parent too.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Now, let us go to your book. You wrote a book titled My Father's Daughter. What a
Yay.
what a title. What is it dedicated to? I believe from this show now I can answer that question, but I
Yes.
still want you to answer that question.
I wrote this book because I didn't want to be selfish. You know, my father raised me up to be very selfless. And in life, when I started realizing, oh, the things this man taught me, were they this useful? I decided, I said, you know what? I'll put it in a book and send out the message out there. I'll own this narrative and I will share this narrative. I'll propagate it and push it out there so other people can imbibe it. So that
Wow.
was the motive behind writing My Father's Daughter.
Thank you very much. Can you give us just three reasons why I should pick up that book and read it?
First of all, if you want to be a better, you're already a good parent, but if you want to be a better parent in
Mm.
terms of parenthood, not just biologically being a father or a mother, you need a copy of this book. Okay. If you actually are interested in self development, self empowerment, and unleashing your own abilities, you need a copy of this book. And then if you are ready to break societal stereotypes, to be
Mm.
free and not held back by what will people say.
Mhm.
They are looking at me with a racist eye. Oh. Are you sure I can do this? You need to get this book. It is very, very important because of these three reasons.
Thank you. So, where can we get copies and how much is this book we're talking about?
My Father's Daughter is on Amazon worldwide. For some
Okay.
reason, Amazon they fixed the price at £10 for the hard copy, 9.99, and the same thing in America, $10 in Japan. So it's 10 of whatever currency in most places. It's also on Okada Books for download, and you also have the electronic copy for Kindle and download on Amazon as well worldwide. If you want hard copies in Nigeria, we have them at Terra Culture. We have some at Glendora. University of Benin, we've got hard copies there. And if you actually can contact me via my social media handles, Loretta Ogboroko for Facebook, Loretta MFD, um, Instagram, and Twitter. Then wherever you are in Nigeria, we can get you the book. But anywhere you are in the world, I think Amazon is the go-to place for
Yeah.
this book.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm very sure as soon as we finish this show, a lot of people will want to get hold of that book to see everything and to be able to read what you've written about your dad and how to develop on themselves. They want to be a better parent. I believe I want to be a better parent, and I believe every one of you out there want to be a better parent. So please go and get yourself a copy. Right. Loretta, I know you've said a lot about fathers, but can you please advise fathers on why it is essential to invest positively in the life of their children and especially their daughters, please?
Okay. Um, so imagine that you grow up with a man. So I'm a young boy, I'm growing up, and my father beats my mother every day in my presence. And after
Mm,
doing that, he goes out to drink with his friends. Um, he comes home, he doesn't talk to me much, he goes about his business. I
mhm,
am going to be one very unhappy young boy. And then two
mm,
things are going to happen. I'm either going to say, I don't want to ever be like my daddy, okay?
mhm,
Or I end up being like my daddy.
mm,
So even those who take the vow that they don't want to end up being like their daddy, what we find
mhm,
sometimes is that without them knowing it, they gradually
mm,
seep into those things. Because there are a
mm,
lot of repressed memories. There are many things we all don't want to think about. And whether we
mhm,
like it or not, our experiences forge us. Okay?
mm,
Now, compare that scenario with another child, another boy child, whose father,
mm,
when he comes home every day, sits with him, does a bit of the assignment, they
mhm,
discuss what is on the news. Ah, daddy, how was coronavirus today? Then mother brings food, they eat as a family. You know, eating
mm,
times are bonding time. When they are going to
mhm,
school, they talk to each other. He
mhm,
sees how his father takes care of his mother.
mm,
That child is better holistic, less
mm,
repressed memories, and that child is going to go into society a lot more confident. You know,
mm,
when we have memories that haunt us, we become
mm,
insecure. Anytime we
mhm.
see or think about those things, they trigger. So,
Yeah.
fast forward many years later, those two boys encounter women and they want life partners or friends. The one who perpetually witnessed abuse is going to seek people who he or
Mm,
he can abuse without knowing it.
mm,
Whereas the one who had mentoring is going to seek people who can engage. So you
mm,
find that all of a sudden, that one who was abused cannot stand confident women because somewhere in his mind, he's looking for his mother figure who he can
mm,
probably shut up, shut down, or put in a cage, as the case may be. So
mm,
without knowing it, that man has bred the future of society.
mm,
Now, imagine that boy had siblings who were girls. That girl has a vision of her father in her mind. She becomes
mm,
scared. Her concept of unions is skewed. Even the
mm,
drive to progress in life can be two things. It can be a determination that I don't want to be used like my mother, in which
mhm,
case I become a high flyer and a man
mm,
hater, and we don't want
mm,
that. Or I'm docile like my mom and take whatever life brings.
brains.
So, with these two stories I have given to you, you see that it's imperative that the formative years of people, you and I, take special interest in them. It doesn't
Mm,
have to be just our children. I mentor a lot of young ones. My daughter's friends, ironically, they won't talk to their moms. They come and speak to me. And that's because whatever they do doesn't shock me. I'm their
mm,
friend. I'm
mm,
ready to be a mentor. And I'm most importantly, a listening ear.
mm.
Listen, listen, and
Thank,
listen.
thank you.
Okay?
Thank you very much. We've come to the end of today's show, but I don't want us to go without you releasing a word of encouragement to parents. You mentioned some category of parents or fathers who are the absentees father, even though they are present in the house with the wives, with their mother, with the children, but they're not physically, emotionally, and financially present with the children. Can you please send a word of encouragement, just two words of word of encouragement to these ones, please?
I will send a word of encouragement to them, but before I do that, I want to send a word of encouragement to you and your team at Deyinka. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for making our world beautiful. Okay. And to these fathers who are absent, or even mothers who choose to be absent, I want to tell them that there is nothing carved in stone in life. The most important thing in life is that it is dynamic. The constant thing is that it is change. So let us resolve to take baby steps to unlearn that which we have learned and to embrace that which we are yet to learn and to turn things around and begin to mentor and be friends to all those around us. It is difficult. We will be beaten. We will fall down, but we need to forgive ourselves, pick ourselves up, and start again.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to say thank you for coming on the show today. Thank you very, very much. I know that you're a very busy woman, but you are able to make it. Even though we started a bit late, but you still made it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And I take all the blame for the lateness once more.
It's okay.
She was here way before time.
We understand. Thank you. I want to say thank you to my listeners and my viewers. I do really appreciate your time. I don't take your time for granted at all, because it is not easy to stay right in front of your device or your TV if you're watching on YouTube. Thank you very much for staying there and helping us to share this video. Thank you very, very much. I do really appreciate you. I want to thank my producer as well, AY, the ambassador, for putting all of this together. I do really, really appreciate you. And on to next week. No, before I go, please go on my YouTube channel now and subscribe.
Yes.
Beautiful Mind TV. Go and subscribe, because we want to eventually be, broadcasting this show on YouTube. And we don't want you to miss it. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Beautiful Mind TV. You cannot miss it. And press that notification button so that anytime we are live and anytime we drop videos, we're always doing little skits here and there. You will not miss it. So please help us subscribe and help us share this video if you're watching on Facebook right now. Thank you very, very much. We have a lot of projects that we are doing. We've just completed one from Forever Manchester, feeding over 100 families in Manchester with African food. And these are foods that can sustain them for like 2 weeks. Thank you, Forever Manchester, for this. And we're still meeting on Zoom as well, having conversation about this coronavirus as well. And again, our work that has been, supported by Greater Manchester. Yes, we are doing this work. We have to lose weight and be fit, not just because we want to lose weight, but because we want to keep fit. Thank you very much, Manchester, for supporting this project. And again, we've just released, we've just received another grant from Manchester, Greater Manchester West, having our own movie night every third Thursday of the month. So please, if you live in the local area of Levenshulme, come and watch a movie. And if you want to suggest a movie that you want us to screen, let us know and you are welcome. Thank you very, very much. Until next week, when I will be bringing another informative and educative topic your way, I remain your host, Adeyinka Adeomi. Bye for now. I love you, Hara.
The truth can hurt you, or the truth can change you. What will truth do to you?